Hi, welcome to Race House with me, Joe Lee.
And me, Darren Reeves.
It's the end of the season. We got there, guys. Well done, Darren. We made it all the way through. Another season of F1, and another season of Race House, of course. Wow, phenomenal. We made it all the way here, but there's been a lot of action until we get to the finale, Abu Dhabi. I mean, we've had Las Vegas and Qatar. But Las Vegas, what can you pull from that race? Any
well,
big news from that one?
well, mate, there might have just been Joe, but as we all know now, of course, Lando and Oscar McLaren were disqualified for plank wear. Lando 0.18 millimeters over the tolerance line of 9 millimeters. How do they measure these things? It's less than a hair. And you know, for me, driving over those, the Vegas Strip, those roads, they're bumpy. They've got manholes that keep popping out. We need a little bit of tolerance here, I think. I felt so sorry for Lando and Oscar on that race, having done the podium presentation. Like 4 or 5 hours later, it's then announced from scrutineering.
I hate that.
I'm really surprised there weren't any other cars that were disqualified as well for that absolute over the tolerance line. You know, was it that it's just random checks? I don't know, Joe. But the thing is, if you're going to disqualify McLaren, you've got to do more checks, I think. But I don't know whether the scrutineers did.
Michael, no. It felt a bit like that. I felt like the FIA was, we want to have a bit of a competition going on.
They pushed this. This couldn't have worked better for Max Verstappen. But wow, Max Verstappen wins Vegas. Max Verstappen wins Qatar. Joe, it just all teed everything up. You know, Lando and Oscar couldn't finish the job off. McLaren couldn't finish the job off. They were making mistakes. Everybody in Qatar came in when the safety car came out on lap 7, except for McLaren. They totally messed their strategy up. So it brought everything down to Abu Dhabi. And Joe, you and I both know that we were going to be there. I so desperately wanted to just turn up and see Lando crowned as champion, and no stress as a British fan. But no, we got to see the ending that I think the FIA wanted, which was a 3-way battle. How many seasons can we say there's been a 3-way battle at the last race?
For a long time. It's always been eras of dominance. And, you know, Oscar could have put this away much earlier. So Lando, really, to be fair. But it has been a real soap drama. I mean, it's been fantastic, nail-biting stuff. And going into that finale at Abu Dhabi, no one really knew what was going to happen because Max was gaining momentum. He was looking fantastic. And, you know, McLaren, they look really worried. Let's not forget, they'd already won the Constructors' Championship. I think a little bit of complacency there at the end of the season. Maybe they took the foot off the pedal. Probably not, because they're a disciplined machine, but maybe some of that psychology crept in. And that's why they were giving away points and making mistakes. But, I tell you, we were lucky, Darren. We both got there. Everyone listening, we both got to go to Abu Dhabi this year again. And it was absolutely fantastic. You could feel the tension in the air all the way up to race day, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. It was a very, very, very odd feeling. You know, it was tension. That's the exact word. Max Verstappen is just, I possibly would say 2025 could be Max's best season so far. But he was just not given the machinery by Christian Horner in the first half of this season. He outscored Lando and Oscar, you know, by massive, massive margins in the second half of the season to make up, a deficit of 104 points since the Dutch Grand Prix. Since the beginning of September. It's just unbelievable. Against McLaren, who are the fastest car with 2 great drivers that were battling it out between them. And that just tells us, can we have Formula One teams that allow their drivers to battle? Or does it have to be the Michael Schumacher mentality of a number 1 driver with a teammate that just picks up points trickling along? We saw it with Barrichello and Massa alongside Schumacher. We saw it with Mark Webber. You know, multi-21, Seb. We remember him saying it for Vettel to win his 4 championships. But what we've seen alongside Max in Sonoda, Gasly, Albon, like they've made Perez look really good, haven't they? Let's be honest. I don't know
Well,
what the right model is, but McLaren can turn round and hold their heads high, mate, because they've made it work. But
they made it
yeah.
work, and this is why we're saluting the papaya. I mean, shock everyone that I'm quite a McLaren fan, and I think that's pretty much I have to be living down the road. And would you confess that you're a McLaren fan as well, Darren?
Mate, what I can confess to honesty, when I took over. When my life got taken over by Formula One back in the mid-80s, it was Williams and Mansell for me, or I think Derek Warwick was in the Renault or the Arrows. I followed the Brits, but of course we then saw Damon Hill in a Williams. So it was Williams. Then we saw Coulthard in a McLaren, but McLaren was Senna's car, the arch rival of Nigel Mansell and Alain Prost. So for me, McLaren was a grower for me with Coulthard. We then saw Mansell in a McLaren for a little bit, didn't we? So I started to warm to it. But then Jenson Button and Lewis Hamilton in McLarens in the 21st century, and now Lando Norris, amazing. McLaren are right up there. And papaya rules now, no more greys or reds and whites or anything like that. Joe, you in Woking, yes, you absolutely have to. For me, it's all about the Brits, and I fully turned up to Abu Dhabi desperate for Lando Norris to just cross the line and do what he needed to do. And boy, did we see it.
Boy, did we see it. He was in the zone. He was very limited talking to press. He had his headphones. He was calm. I saw some of the preamble and the preparation he was doing. He was just in the zone, super calm, super focused. I know what I have to do. He only had to finish on the podium, and then he would be world champion. And you saw the relief on his face when he actually achieved it. He was crying in the car all the way back, and then when he got into the podium, got the trophy done. Max won again, a fantastic race for him. And but for Lando there, he really, that was the dream come true moment for Lando.
Joe, that moment I feel a little bit part of, because he said to Will Joseph on that final lap, when he really realised that he was going to be world champion for real, was when he came under the bridge at the W Hotel. And where was I stood, Joe?
Where were you stood, Darren, by any chance, at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix?
So I was stood under the bridge. I watched it from there 2 years ago, and I decided I'd watch it again. I was working on the yachts out in Abu Dhabi, Joe. Very lucky to have some work to make that happen, in living in the world of entertainment and Formula One mixed together. And he came under that bridge and realised, and I was right there, mate, touching distance. And also, I've got it on video. I was filming away like most people do in this day and age. And then on that in lap where he was picking up debris, waving to the crowd, crying his eyes out, and he came under that bridge, and I shouted it. It's all on my social media, Joe, of me shouting, "Go on, Lando!" I just felt part of it. I don't know if he
thumbs up, didn't he?
I don't know if he heard me or not.
Cheers, Darren.
Yeah. But you do feel part of it, and I'll say to any Formula One fan, is you can watch it on television, and the television, the television's footage and the quality of what they put out is so amazing. But when you go to a Formula One match, race, feel the cars, watch the cars, watch what's in front of you, count the gaps. I had a bit of telemetry with me just following it, but I had no screens, no nothing. Watch it old school. Enjoy the feeling of Formula One. Everybody's got to go and watch a race once in their life.
You have to go to see a race. Yeah,
you do. And Abu Dhabi, I've got to say, the weather, Joe, was phenomenal the whole time. It's so beautiful out there. You and I got to spend some time together as well, and we visited a number of golf clubs. I feel like I was doing doing like a site visit for a golf event or something like that we need to do. My love of golf is as big as my love of Formula One, so it was just a total joy to spend that last week of the F1 season and see Lando win in person, and just making memories, Joe. That's what we're doing.
It's making memories, and we've always said this in the previous seasons, and this is our third season
It
of doing
is.
Race House. Yeah, it creeps up on you, doesn't it? To go, they're all over the world now, and most places you can get to within a few hours flight. There's more in the US now, in North America. You've got tons in Europe that you can get to, and a couple of them you can actually even kind of see stuff for free. Monaco is one example of that. So it doesn't have to cost a fortune. Go and see one of these races, because the spectacle, the feeling, the buzz around, especially that crescendo, the build up from Friday up to Sunday race day, is you can't describe it. It's electric in the air.
I think crescendo is a fantastic word to use, Joe, musically for it. The build up to the event. Even Thursday now is becoming a big day at the track where people just want to look around the track. There's some races have pit walks for people that they can do and get in for regular fans. I know Silverstone's been doing it. This is a 4-day event that's a slow burner, and it just grows and grows, and the tension and the build up. And my word, did we have that at Abu Dhabi this year? But I've got to say, mate, Max winning those last 3 races with Piastri pushing him all the way to it, and pushing Lando all the way as well this season. But Lando crossing that line in third, mate, the sense of relief as a British Formula One fan, was immense. But I also want to just give a hats off to Max, because we could have just witnessed one of the greatest comebacks of all time in Formula One as well, and would have been part of that. So Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, they've all driven, for me, the best season all 3 of them have ever driven in their own way. They've all made mistakes, and their teams have made mistakes as well. But it's been a box office of a season, and I can't wait for Drive to Survive to come out.
It's going to be a good one next year. That. What an incredible season for those characters. Not so much for Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion. He started so well with China, but then was disqualified. Really terrible. And actually, I think there's a lot more rot going on, because I noticed at the end when Lewis was on the radio thanking the team, thanks for everything this year. No response. He was getting nothing. And this has been something that's been going on for a while. His look on his face, no.
Yeah. Ferrari have been a very difficult team ever since I've ever watched Formula One. Even though we've seen Alain Prost win in Ferrari in the early 90s. I watched that, and to see Kimi Räikkönen win in 2007. Again, last race chaos that was for Kimi to win that. And then they won the Constructors in 2008 with him. But they are just always all over the shop. And Lewis has gone in probably thinking he can sort it out because of the dream, that Michael Schumacher made real. That's why I didn't mention it there. Michael Schumacher made this happen. If there's only one other person in the world that could do it, it's Lewis Hamilton. But I just think, because Michael was a lot younger when he did it at Ferrari.
Yeah. And
I think that, Joe, I turned 50 last year, and my word, do I feel different to what I felt in my 40s? Lewis, is Lewis 40 yet? I think he is, isn't he? I know. Yes, he is 40. It's a different time of life and a different chapter, and he's trying to do what he needed to do 10 years ago. I'm starting to lose hope, if I'm honest with you. And we obviously, all the balls are being thrown up in the air for next season, and that's why Lewis is there. In addition to that, Mercedes only offered him a 1-year deal, whereas Ferrari offered him a multi-year deal. But he just wanted that feeling of to win for Ferrari and possibly in front of the Tifosi. That's something that nobody can buy, that experience. And I think that's the one thing missing from Lewis's experience of Formula One.
Well, he wants number 8. I mean, let's be clear. He will. But what's interesting is that he's getting beaten by his old teammate George Russell. Yep. He's getting beaten by Antonelli. I mean, he's getting beaten by everyone, especially his teammate Charles Leclerc, who looked like a real threat actually in Abu Dhabi.
Brilliant.
He was not going to be helping Lando at all. I don't know what's going on there. But I mean, do they have the same car? That's always the story we're given. But is Lewis just is he losing the edge?
Uh, I think that I think Max would be the same if they haven't got the car under them. They don't have the motivation. Charles Leclerc is still fighting for his career in a way of he's not won a world championship. He was in it in 2022. He had a chance of taking Max on, but then fell away in the latter part of the season. So he's in a different stage of his career. But I think if Max was in a Ferrari, we'd see similar attitude from Max because they've been there, done it, got the T-shirt. I'm wasting my time. Lewis, mate, you should have stayed with Mercedes, if I'm totally honest with you. But the question is he knows it's all about 2026. We could see Aston Martin win. We could see Williams win next season. We could see Alpine win. We just don't know. And one thing that we do know is that Red Bull put all their efforts into Max trying to win 2025. So are they going to be behind in the development race moving into 2026? This is the shortest winter break that we've ever had. They are testing in Barcelona in 36 days' time or something. I don't think that's the gap is 36. So this is a massive race, technological race when it comes to the cars, the engines, the chassis, the fuel alone. That is another thing that is changing so much. And so there are so many variables that Lewis has to be there ready for it. But I do believe that if after 4 races the Ferrari isn't there, I will be very surprised to see Lewis complete the season. I also believe that if the Red Bull isn't there after 4 or 5 races, we could see Max sign for a new team for 2027 very quickly.
That's interesting.
They're my predictions.
Early predictions. Yes, I mean, I don't know if Max. I mean, he could leave. I mean, he doesn't seem that he's actually that bothered. I mean, he's won world championships now. He said, "Well, I kind of done that. Maybe I want to go and be a sailing championship, or maybe I just want to go enjoy my life." Because he has mentioned many times there are other things outside racing. So
right.
he doesn't care about beating 7 or 8. He's already got 4. So he's loved by the Dutch. I mean, like there's no one else really coming up in Holland that's going to take his mantle for a while. But I think while he's got the age, he will keep competing. He's got that fierce edge, cutthroat. And look at what he did. Incredible season, the back half of the season, resurrection really. And all the problems Red Bull have had. Most of the key players have left, under a cloud or just out the back door. Yuki has just been nowhere, and he won't be around next season. And let's see if he reappears. But I've got a feeling that's the last we'll see of Yuki, unfortunately.
What I did hear was that Honda tried to do everything to keep him in the Red Bull seat and possibly in Formula One
by connection.
But of course it's Ford that are taking over the Red Bull powertrains now. So Honda are moving to Aston Martin, I believe. So, and there's no way that he could have got a seat in Aston Martin with Lawrence Stroll being in charge of his son and Fernando Alonso having the chance. Fernando, I'd love to see him winning an Aston Martin. He's one of the good guys. But so I don't think I think Yuki is done in the same way that we saw Guan Yu Zhou from Asia come over as well.
China,
well, that's Asia. So, what we'll remember Zhou for is the big crash. What will we remember Tsunoda for? I'm not really sure anymore because I just wish he'd stayed in that Racing Bull, to be honest, because he looked good in it. In the way Lawson has looked better in it, in the way that who else is in it? I can't think. Hadjar. Yes, of course. And of course, look what's happened. Hadjar now is the poison chalice.
Well, it sounds nice, doesn't it? You get promoted to the senior team, but look what happened with Liam. I mean, is there 2 races, 1 race, and he's off? I would love to see Liam Lawson back in there, but I don't know. You're always going to be playing second fiddle. You're always going to be number 2 driver. I think Liam's got better to give, and we saw some really good moments from him this season. But these guys are young; they've just started out. They need this experience. They need to.
They
get down
need
the circuit
time.
a few
They
times.
need time. Mate, I've got to be honest with you. Alex Albon, for me, was just in the Red Bull too soon. And this is the problem with the young driver programs. They're just promoting them up and pushing them in too fast because that's how it works. And we are going to see another one of the Red Bull young driver programs come into Racing Bulls in Arvid Lindblad, Joe, this year. So it all leads on. It all leads on. And, but can any of them match Max Verstappen? Of course they can't. He's a once in a generation.
Well, Oscar Piastri, he was a rookie last season. Is that right?
2 seasons ago. So
Two seasons ago.
He's just finished his 3rd season with McLaren.
Ah, okay, yeah. Okay, so it feels younger. But I like his attitude. He's just out there winning races, and he could have won the championship if it went his way. I would love for him to stay at McLaren. I think it's a great pairing. It's going to be interesting next year. It's going to be Oscar's year. He's going to want to have that next year. But, was he a bit annoyed that, because I didn't really know who was the number one driver. No one really knew. And McLaren's line, we'll let them race. We'll let them race. Well, I do feel that there was a bit of favoritism to Lando. And I just felt, I don't know, it looked like the support wasn't there for Oscar to win that. So is he peeved? Is he off? I think he's going to stay. I think he likes there, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets offers.
Mate, for definite, cap's coming off now, Joe. For definite, I think that when Oscar signed, Mark Webber, his manager, demanded equal number one status, and they went for it because they knew they didn't want to lose Piastri. And do you remember when Piastri signed for them? It was all, Alpine had him, and he was meant to be driving for Alpine, and it was all a little bit weird at the time. But none of us knew why, because we didn't really know who he was, other than we might have seen him in the odd F2 race if you paid attention. So I think that McLaren have almost been contractually forced into this situation. That's what I think. So, and I think Zach has nurtured Lando. He came in as a rookie as well, didn't he? So he's had 7 seasons. Oscar's had 3. I think it's only right to favour Lando because of experience within the team and what the team's been striving for that period of time and longer. Alonso was in there building, trying to develop this car back to the front of the grid as well. Oscar will have his time. Mark Webber needs to be patient, and I think Oscar will have it probably in a McLaren, but we've got to see what the cars do. The best drivers go to the best cars. So we might see a chaotic 2026, but 2027 we'll have Piastri and Verstappen, probably Russell, Leclerc and Lando. The top 5 drivers will be in the top 5 cars without a doubt.
And no DRS next season.
Well, there is and there isn't. It's not called DRS, but what happens is the rear flaps on the rear wings and the front wings now move as well. So they do move based on airflow and speed.
Active aerodynamics. That's what they call it.
Exactly it. I don't know what it's going to look like yet, or whether we'll even notice it. It's clear to us when that DRS flap is down and when it's open, and you can see right through it. And we are then expecting. For me, DRS has always been a false form of racing to create overtaking, but then we're now seeing it in Formula E when they get boosts, power boosts. When you if you choose to select the power boost, we're seeing it with the batteries when they say harvest the energy and then have a little power boost on the straight to stave off DRS.
So
it's
Formula
just
E.
part. Yeah. It's becoming. It's going to. Formula One is going to become a hybrid, 50-50 electric and fuel
power. Yeah,
power. Yeah, this year we're going to see lots of this.
It's true, and also the cars are getting a bit smaller. They're getting lighter, more agile.
Good.
As you said, the 50-50 power split with ICE. The tyres are becoming narrower because if you've ever been close to an F1 car, the tyres are huge.
Yes.
I mean, like BA Baraka style on the 18 band, or they should be on some kind of tank. They're huge.
Joe,
they're becoming narrow, like more like a road car in a way.
On that note, I just want to give out a shout out to Pirelli. When I was coming out of Abu Dhabi on Sunday night after the race, about 10 o'clock, I had some of my music equipment with me, and it was really difficult to carry. We couldn't get the vehicles anywhere close to where we needed to, so I'm there
Always
trying to carry it all out.
Mm.
And the Pirelli lads just looked at me and went, "Do you want a hand?" And do you know what? One of them had my piano shell, one of them had my keyboard, one of them had my stool, one of them had my... And do you know what? They just were amazing. So for me, Pirelli are rock stars right now. They won't even know what the hell they were carrying. They just saw a man in need.
A man in need.
Yes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I was circling, trying to get in to pick you up, and I missed half of Katy Perry, but that was okay. I didn't mind. I saw
Which
Metallica.
half?
Well, yeah, I saw Metallica the day before, so I was happy. Yeah, it's a lot of changes next year. The cars could be very different, and I think looking at people like Alonso, Lewis, maybe these changes are going to benefit them. You know, the cars could be 30 kilograms lighter. You know, more nimble, more agile. It's going to be a very different season, and this has been coming for a while. This is going to be the big test. I've been testing in Bahrain next February, March, and then the first race Australia in March, early March. They haven't got long.
They haven't got long at all, mate.
To design these cars, everything has to be done from scratch. This is a completely different car. And if you've seen an F1 car up close or in the Hilton, they sometimes have the show cars and things. You know, you'll see how huge they are. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I guess they need to make space on the grid or in the pits because they've got another team joining, Cadillac, and Stake is turned into Audi Revolut. So first season we could have 11 teams.
Well, firstly, Joe, I didn't realise Audi's sponsor was Revolut, who I actually now bank with. But I'm cross with them because they've started charging. Now I know why.
Got to pay for an F1 team.
Paying for Audi to join Formula One. Oh my word! So yeah. Now we got to remember that it was only last year that Apex GP were the 11th team on the grid for much of the 2023 and 2024 season, filming the F1 movie. So adding that 11th team into the pit lane, actually they've been doing it. So that's not going to be too difficult. Obviously, we're increasing all logistics by 10%, but I think that'll be fine. The only person that's going to have their nose put out is where's Gordon Ramsay going to put his pit garage?
Well,
for his cooking.
It's gone. I mean, surely it's gone. I mean, you got to think every track now needs an 11th garage. They've all got to be converted or put in the planning permission for the extension. Yeah, exactly. Well, it might be a pop-up somewhere in the Paddock Club or something, but or it might not happen. But yeah, he's been really on that, and he's been at loads of races. Gordon Ramsay. This guy does not sleep. And we saw Rio Ferdinand was on the track for Qatar.
He was, yeah.
And then I think he went to Washington, D.C. to do the World Cup draw, the Football World Cup next year. Mm-hmm. And then he came back to Abu Dhabi. I think I got the right order. And then he was on the track there. And he lives in Dubai. So he did a lot of traveling as well the past couple of weeks.
And I thought I did a lot of traveling. And weirdly, Joe, I got back from Dubai on Monday night, and would you believe it, last week, I was then working at Gordon Ramsay's restaurant by St. Paul's Cathedral on Thursday night. So I thought,
arcade.
One very near there, in fact. It was Street Pizza is where I was doing a Christmas event. But, mate, I can't get away from the guy. You know, but listen, he's a huge Formula One fan. We're all big Formula One fans and can't wait. I think we're still craving a 12th team, if I'm totally honest with you. And I think all these pit lanes and pit garages and everything else have got to be able to accommodate. You and I have walked the length of those pit straights, whether on the pit on the pit lane, whether above it in the Paddock Club, Joe, or even just as a fan walking along. These are massive complexes. And, you know, you look at what they've built in Vegas now and Qatar. You know, Abu Dhabi's been there now for 15, 16 years, whatever it is, a bit more than that, in fact. 2008 was the first Abu Dhabi, wasn't it? And Singapore as well, what they've built there. It's massive, Joe. Just phenomenal. The old pit straight at Silverstone now just looks pathetic in comparison.
But I think the drivers and I think the fans want to see more circuits and less street races. We've got some great street races. Don't get me wrong. Monaco is probably the iconic one. Azerbaijan is a fantastic one. Vegas seems to work. Yes, there are still some teething problems with the manhole covers and things, but it works. And as they go around the sphere, it's fantastic, and all the monuments. And even though they do
But
close down Vegas, it looks phenomenal.
but
But I think
is the
drivers,
racing?
yeah, the
Yeah,
racing, and we can't forget that all the stuff and Gordon Ramsay and everything is fantastic, but it's got to be about the racing, and it's got to
yep.
be the drivers want to push, and it's a joy for them to go to Suzuka or Spa or
Spa,
Silverstone.
Spa, and Silverstone and Suzuka. You're right. All three of them are the best place to see the best drivers on
They're
the
the
best
drivers'
circuits
favourites.
in the best cars. Exactly
Yeah,
right. I love Melbourne. And that's sort of round the park. It is a street circuit. But you don't feel like it is so much when things are enclosed up. I'm not sure what Vegas feels like. I've not done it. I've been to Vegas loads, but I've never been there on a Formula One weekend.
I like Portugal. I like Portimao. You can see everything. It's brilliant.
Joe, mate, just thinking back to that, Joe and I, Joe knows, we spent 2020 a Portuguese Grand Prix in the tower in the middle of the circuit at the top. We had a 360-degree view. The only thing we couldn't see was turn one. What do you want to see at the start of a race? It's turn one, Joe. But we were so lucky, during COVID to do that Paddock Club. And
Yeah.
I'd love
like
to see.
I'd
loved it. It's
set,
just
it?
brilliant,
Layers
mate.
and brilliant. I mean, I think
Yeah.
MotoGP still goes there. I'd love to see F1 back there, but yeah, I don't know. It's commercial viability, I guess, as well.
Can you remember who won? Yes. Lewis Hamilton won it, and it was his 94th win. And why was that significant?
Because it's the most wins any driver's ever had.
Correct, beating Michael Schumacher.
Joe,
well remembered, mate. And you took a great photo. You took a great photo of me as he drove by on his in-lap, just like I did with Lando last week, mate. And there's me shouting away at Lewis on his in-lap.
It's a good job I'm on an F1 podcast. I do know my stuff. Wow.
I'm really proud of you, Joe. I'm really proud of you there. Good.
We've got some live. We got some live viewers. So just if you're watching, send us some questions in the comments, and we'll try and get a couple of questions in before we have to go.
Great.
Talking about 12th team, Christian Horner. He's lurking in the shadows. He's biding his time. He's thinking, when do I come in? Oh, he doesn't quite know. I thought he'd go to Aston Martin, but Adrian Newey has taken on that mantle.
Wow. That's come as a surprise to me, because you know how much of a character Christian Horner is and how much of a technician Adrian Newey is. I'm curious to see how it's going to work. I get it with the design of the car and the success he's had, but to run a team and a team of people, I'm just curious to know how that's going to work. That came as a surprise.
Maybe it's on his bucket list, or maybe it's part of his deal.
Oh, mate, I think his deal is so good.
Yeah, he made the Valkyrie, didn't he? I mean, he designed that for him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. I would love to see more from Aston Martin. Look, they've got all the tools. They've got everything there, all the gear. And now they've got people like Adrian Newey. They've got former world champions. They've got everything. It's all the recipe they need. They could do a McLaren. This is
I'd love to see it. And I'll hark back to that team when, in the form of Jordan, the late Eddie Jordan, when they went and won and got a 1-2 at Spa in 1998. To see Damon Hill cross that line in those yellow Jordans was just what all Formula One fans want to see. And I'd love to see the reincarnation of the Jordan team go out and win a race next year or more.
Well, it'd be lovely, and we were very lucky to meet Eddie last year, and bless him, he was such a legend in the sport and in business and everywhere. We have a question here from Pink Fedoras. I think I can put it on the screen. Is Newey still going to be working on that car despite his promotion to team principal? I don't know. Well, we were just talking about this. I mean, is he going to have time really to do that, or has he already designed the car on the back of a napkin?
Adrian Newey is principally a car designer, and he's the best car designer Formula One have seen since the likes of Colin Chapman back in the 60s and 70s. I think he's definitely designed that car. I think it's he now obviously will have a massive team around him developing the car, so he will be watching the development process. He knows what he's doing, doesn't he? He absolutely knows what he's doing.
I would say to Pink Fedoras that there's a book that he wrote, it's on Amazon, called How to Build a Car. And it's basically the Bible for all the teams have read it, and I've been told. Adrian Newey's How to Build a Car. And he just goes through the whole thing about how he builds an F1 car. And this is during the the Vettel era, actually, I think. That he 2017.
Joe, you've just come up with the best Christmas present to send Flavio Briatore, because he's not got a clue.
Oh God, is he there next year?
Christ, I don't know.
Sort it out, Rano. But there you go. That should answer your question, Pink Fedoras, and thanks for your question. So we'll see what's going to happen with Aston Martin. We want a result. Actually, I like Aston Martin cars. We're big Bond fans. It carries over, doesn't it? There we go. Switch caps. Whoever wins.
It's got Fernando. It's got Fernando and Stroll on it as well. I was given that in the Aston Martin garage in Abu Dhabi 2023.
There you go. Every cap has a story, folks.
Oh, yes.
I was given this one by McLaren as well, so I'm very happy about that.
Actually, so was Joe. I think this came in the same batch.
So, is that the one? Okay, show that one. Show the back of that one.
Oh, so the back of this one.
It says Silverstone.
It says Britain, is what it says on the back.
Oh no! Well, then there's another one that I gave you.
Oh,
which has Silverstone on the back.
Right.
I think I gave it to your kids actually.
Yeah, it's quite possible.
And McLaren gave that. So basically, if teams give you free stuff, then you support that team, and that's how it works.
You are shallow, Joe.
Well, look, we've had a great roundup. Thanks very much to everybody that's tuned in. I'll go and pick Fedora. You had the last one. Dude, I love Aston. I genuinely think with so many important workforce individuals jumping ship off Red Bull, we could see a lot more midfield battles, especially considering the new regs. Yeah, we just discussed that, the new regs. We'll put this video up on YouTube. You can have a look. But the cars, they're going to be smaller, they're going to be lighter, they'll be more agile. And who knows what's going to happen? We think Alonso could be up there. Hamilton could be up there. Who knows?
It might not be midfield battles that Aston are fighting.
Oh, you think they might be up front?
I'd love to see them up front. For me, it's what Formula One needs. Like I said a minute ago, to see that the reincarnation of Jordan go and win and see Alonso do it. We saw Alonso get a number of podiums at the beginning of 2024, and I thought to myself, here we go. But we didn't even know about Adrian Newey at that point, I don't think. But things are growing there, and things are growing there fast and in the right way. They're building the infrastructure correctly. I don't know if you've been to Silverstone to see just to drive by the setup there, but it's phenomenal. In the same way, McLaren's MTC building, and the one that I always find, when you drive through Brackley, have you ever driven past Mercedes place there? It's so insignificant considering what they've achieved. And have you ever done Red Bull up in Milton Keynes? Have you ever driven
Milton
past
Keynes? No, but they've got a centre. You can go and visit the centre. They've got the cars all laid out in a conference event centre. I don't know. I mean, I drive past the MTC on a very regular basis, and I know that Woken has been going crazy. And look, at the end of the season, it has been crowned. We'll see what's going to happen next year with all the new regulations and a couple of new changes in the driver lineup and how it fits, and a few new liveries. But this year was about McLaren. They did it. The constructors, and Lando won his first drivers' championship. So congratulations to McLaren. Darren, I want to thank you. Another great season on Race House. We've had a lot of fun. It's our third season. This thing started as we kept calling each other after the race and chatting about it. And now we actually put it into a podcast. So super happy. And thanks for your help as well in different races that we've been to this year.
No, mate. Listen, it's been a total joy, Joe. We love chatting Formula One. We love experiencing Formula One together, and the more we can do of it moving forward, 2026 onwards would be a total joy as well. So thank you for inviting me on to do it, mate, and making it happen.
Always a pleasure, and we'll be back next year for more Race House season 4, and we will try and get one in before after pre-season testing, maybe just after Australia, so we can see. Thanks to everyone who's watched us throughout the year, and we will see you again in 2026 for more Formula One. So from Race House, it's bye from me, Joe Lee,
and with a British world champion from Britain and McLaren, it's goodbye from me. Take care.
No, you have to say your name.
Oh, I have. Just in Britain. No. So
yeah, you did Britain. Okay, so bye
right,
from me,
again.
Okay, I did a really nice outro. Sorry, Pink Fedora, you're watching this thinking these clowns. Why am I subscribed to these guys?
These are the bits people remember.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be cut from Spotify. Okay, so we'll see you again in 2026 for season 4 of Race House. So goodbye from me, Joe Lee.
And goodbye. Oh no, Joe! You're gonna have to do it one more time. Let's go.
Oh my God, this is gonna be the longest podcast ever. So right, Race House 2026 is happening. We'll be back. Is it F1? Yeah, we'll do F1. We'll do F1 again. We'll see you next year around Melbourne time for the next episode. Have a lovely Christmas. Happy New Year. If you're celebrating, we'll see you then. So goodbye from me, Joe Lee.
And it's goodbye from me, Darren Reeves.
Hey,
take care.
Take care.
Yes.